Yes, I know it's been a while, but we're back. And here's a question for you. What is Christian Bale's highest grossing film at the box office? Answer at the end of the video. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome back to another Lost the Plot video. Firstly, I want to apologise for our absence. Yes, we've not posted for 2 to 3 weeks. We've missed a few key films like Pinocchio and Don't Worry Darling, and also there hasn't been a review of September, which we apologise for as well. But we are back on track, we have turned a corner, and there will be a lot more content coming your way in the next few weeks. So, let's get on with the first film back, and that is Amsterdam. Before I get on to the review though, let's do a little synopsis, as we always do before any film. 3 people make friends, 1 has a glass eye, and 2 of them witness a murder. From me, this film gets a 6 out of 10, and I just want to say that it was disappointing. Entertaining, but I feel like it didn't live up to its potential at all, especially when you consider the cast of this film. It is genuinely mind-blowing that this has not been the best film released this year, but that does lead to script writing and story and character development, which in my opinion was extremely weak. Stylistically, this film was absolutely superb. 1930s nailed it to a T. Even the tension around the 1930s and the political delicacies at the time, it was absolutely superb and structured that way really well. However, I felt like this was a film that didn't know what it wanted to be. It was confused, and I couldn't tell you the genre of it. I don't know if it was a murder mystery, a drama, a noir film, a comedy. It was a mishmash of various different genres, and I know sometimes that's good, but ultimately, for this, it was quite confusing and wasn't clear at all. As I've touched on, the story was engaging, and it did include quite a lot of plot twists, which were at the time compelling. It made you interested in the story, and as it's based off a true story, it is interesting and quite shocking what happens, especially in that time period. But it felt sporadic. It felt like the story was mishmashed together, and the timing of the film was really bad. And by timing, I'm sort of talking about pacing. It started off like a whirlwind. You didn't really know what was going on or what was happening, or these characters that were being introduced. And then it slowed. Probably slowed too much, because it got quite a bit of a drag in the second act. And even the third act picked up. The third act was the longest act of film I've ever watched ever. There were 5 times that I thought the film could have ended, so it could have finished 20 minutes earlier, but it didn't. And I was waiting. I was bursting for the toilet, which didn't help anyway, but I was just waiting for it to finish. It could have finished a lot earlier, but they dragged it on and on and on, and the dialogue that was included wasn't great either, which all goes down to the script writing. This film did not hit its potential at all, and it's so disappointing. The cast, however, was absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to go through everyone because we're going to be here longer than you and I want to be. But the main 3 characters are John David Washington, Margot Robbie, and Christian Bale. Christian Bale and Margot Robbie were absolutely superb, as you would expect them to be, but I always find John David Washington to be a little bit bland and not have the same skill as other people on the screen with him. I thought he was the weakest part of this film, and his character was quite bland and one-dimensional. But mind you, I could say that about a few characters. I felt they were quite hollow. Because of the number of big names and characters, there were a lot of hollow characters that weren't properly developed, which was also quite disappointing. And that's it. A bang average film that will I watch again? No, it wouldn't bother me at all. And the funniest moments, to be honest, did come from Chris Rock. His character was good and was funny, but other than that, underwhelming. If you don't go and see it, it's not the end of the world. Go and see a better film. That's what I'd say, because Christian Bale and Margot Robbie have a lot of better films out there. This one has done them no justice whatsoever. But before we finish the video, there was a question that needed to be answered, and that question was, what is Christian Bale's highest grossing film at the box office? And that film is The Dark Knight, which probably isn't a surprise to many people. It definitely wasn't a surprise to me, but it was fitting because Christian Bale does so very well in this film. And yeah, that's all from me. I'll see you in the next one, and the next one will be The Woman King starring Viola Davis. Adios.
Hey, 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 oh, hey, hey.